There are beliefs that claim that everything we attract is a reflection of who we are. But is that true? Have you ever felt that you attract situations or people that don't align with you at all? Stay a few minutes and you'll discover the possible energetic or astral origin of what happens in those cases through the perspective of interdimensional vision. Do you attract what you are? It's not true that everything we attract is a reflection of who we are. We can create a situation, attract a person or thing, depending on the type of energy we put into what we want to create, achieve, bring into being, and experience. We attract more through what we do than through who we are. If you are something and do nothing, then you'll be invisible to many. Nor is being a good person a guarantee that good things will happen to you. There are bad people who are multimillionaires and have a good life, full of luxuries and pleasures. On the other hand, there are many good, honest, and sincere people who experience terrible things, live in poverty, and are unable to achieve certain goals precisely because they don't dare to do bad things. Being a multimillionaire doesn't necessarily mean being good, but many people associate abundance with that. Let's analyze situations that you attract or repel even without lifting a finger. Depending on who we are, the life we lead, or the things we do. These situations have an energetic origin, or rather, an astral interference. Unfavorable situations. Attraction. Since we began treating people in sessions to eradicate astral interference, we've found that they experience situations where, from a very young age, they have attracted people, situations, and even entities that create chaos in their lives. They attract them as if they were a radar, without lifting a finger. People who suffer bullying from the moment they become sociable, whether at home, at school, with co-workers, or from people they've just met. Cases where accidents always seem to follow them, or where they are very attractive to certain types of people who are violent, unfaithful, or exhibit specific behaviors. For example, phrases like, "I have bad luck with partners or friends," are very common. Even certain financial blocks, recurring situations where they obtain money and then days later they have to spend it and are left with nothing. Situations that repeat throughout their lives with a specific pattern, as if someone were doing it on purpose. Favorable situations. Dispersion. But it's not only possible to attract unfavorable situations, but also to scatter favorable ones. Good things always seem to elude you, or you're never chosen, as if you had leprosy or smelled awful from afar. You tend to be left alone, undervalued, even if you're a capable person. I attended to a person who is a salesman and worked alongside his brothers. Each of them had an individual sales stand. Whenever he was with them, they struggled to sell anything. Sales were poor. However, whenever he couldn't go and was absent, his brothers sold a lot. It was the same pattern. Eventually, he had to let his brothers sell his products for him. This is a case of wealth dispersion, another type of economic blockage. All these recurring situations with the same pattern are a type of astral interference, identified by the Interdimensional Vision team. Marks in the energy field. When we have treated people in order to eradicate their interference, in searching for the energetic origin of these recurring situations, we have identified external energies in their energy field that behave in a way that attracts the attention of people, energies, and archon entities at the energetic level or within the astral plane. Therefore, the effect manifests on the physical plane. It is as if they have a mark that makes them appear desirable, easily deceived, detestable, abusable, unattractive, or possessing a certain characteristic that the archons can exploit. In other words, energetic marks are designed to influence others so that they then harm the marked individual, whether an archon, a disembodied spirit, or the energetic bodies of those still incarnate. Types of marks in the energy field. There are 4 types of energetic marks. The first are attractors, which are responsible for attracting unfavorable situations. The second type are dispersers, which are responsible for repelling favorable situations. We have already explained these 2 cases in previous chapters. The third type of mark behaves like a tracker, installing itself in the energy field of an incarnated fractal who has been transferred to a different planetary system and who owed agreements to other entities. These entities, in order to keep track of the individual and collect their debts later, place a tracker in their energy field. The fourth type are identifiers or badges. This type of mark is placed in the energy field solely so that other entities or groups of entities, upon seeing this affected being, know to whom it belongs. The first 2 cases are the ones that most affect people who have this type of interference because they bring chaos into their lives. Why are energy marks installed? Energy marks are consequences of astral contracts, whether individual or generational. When these are consequences of individual astral pacts, it's how an archon collects a debt. It places a mark on the energy field to constantly absorb the energy of the person suffering caused by the chaotic situations they attract. For example, if someone has made a pact with an entity to obtain wealth in a previous life, as a consequence or form of payment for the pact, the archon installs a mark of lack on them, so that in later lives they live in poverty or lose what they obtain. Generational energetic marks are the debt of an energetic contract, a pact with an entity where an ancestor may have offered their descendants as a sacrifice. In this way, all their descendants will bear a mark, generally exhibiting behavior contrary to what was requested in the contract. The descendants will only have that interference in that one lifetime. But the ancestor who originated it will suffer permanent consequences for many lifetimes until the archon fully collects on the contract. What do energy marks look like? As we've already mentioned, energy marks in the energy field are energy that has a specific function: to influence those who perceive them from the astral energy plane. When identified in the energy field, the mind attributes an appearance to them related to the pattern of behavior or situation they cause. Some people who suffer from intimate abuse have a mark in the shape of a pheromone bottle to attract the attention of others who are susceptible to manipulation in this way. People who have financial or abundance blocks may have a mark in the shape of a sack or a torn bag or a bottomless hole. Everything they obtain disappears through it. The appearance depends more on how our mind interprets it in these cases. Another type of mark can be precious stones, making the person attractive to others who only seek to take advantage of them for money. How can we counteract some attractors? The problem is that many people tend to choose what they attract, and if what attracts them is unfavorable, their choices will always be unfavorable or negative. However, instead of being lazy in this regard, we must create our own situations and choose accordingly. Some people complain that they always have bad partners, toxic and unfaithful, because they always choose what they attract when they have an energetic mark. Instead, they should choose outside of what they attract due to interference. Many of the people we've treated were able to do it, and only in this way were they able to turn their situation around. How to eliminate energetic marks. The marks on the energy field can only be removed by accessing the astral plane, identifying the mark, giving it form, and eliminating it. Therefore, we need to have the perspective of an energetic being, or, better yet, as essence. Because only in this way do we have the capacity to see it, identify it, isolate it, and have the energy to eliminate it. We do this with remote viewing, or rather, by acting on those planes as an energetic being and with all the power we possess as essence or infinite creative consciousness. I hope this information has been helpful in identifying pattern situations in your life. See you in future videos with more information to learn more about astral interference and how the archons manage this matrix or space of reincarnations.